gotten the FRS all painted, I've been really wanting to just drive it and enjoy it. But I haven't been able to because we are boosting uncontrollably. I have a Grimspeed electronic boost control solenoid installed with two maps. One, a 10 PSI map running wastegate pressure, and a second, fun map at 14.5. However, when I looked at a couple of data logs, we were spiking at around 15 and then hitting a hard boost cut, which to me, I interpret it as a misfire. So in an effort to get to the root cause on why we are overboosting, we're going to install a vacuum line on the intake charge pipe to the wastegate and just run straight 10 PSI. This way it will tell us if we have a faulty solenoid, which hopefully is the case because I don't want to be chasing down any boost leaks that I already tried to and didn't find anything. Well, let's see. So this is an SBD 500X Turbo, pretty popular turbo kit on the FRS BRZ GT86 platform. There's a huge support group for this turbo kit. And after doing some research on that forum, or Facebook page, this is step one. And what might be happening is we might have a faulty wastegate. But we'll see.
Hey, on some Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, she tell me that that body is mine. Shit, I might pull up to your crib with a bottle of wine. All these dudes want my spot, but they can all get in line. Ooh, they sending DMs, oh, they so annoying. We like to read them, I kinda enjoy it. On some Freud shit, you never let these boys sit.
All right, boost control solenoid, vacuum lines are tucked and out of the way. We have our new vacuum line installed. Let's take it out for a test spin. All right, engine's warmed up. Let's see here. Well, that only looked like it was 9 PSI. This vent gauge comes in handy though. Hooks up to your OBD2 and gives you all the important vitals. I believe the boost pressure is a reference from the map sensor. So it's exactly what the engine's seeing. Vacuum leak somewhere. All right, well, I know you guys heard that crunch. My third gear is getting a little crunchy. Add that to the list of things we need to figure out on this car. Vacuum leak, semi-confirmed? Fairly confident, or now that I think about it, maybe a sticky wastegate. Either way, we'll get to the bottom of it. So first course of action, we're gonna remove this wastegate and see if it's sticking at any point. I already adjusted the rod enough to potentially fix whatever the issue is, but just as a double check, we might as well remove it and check it out. Took off the wastegate bracket bolts. Just gotta get the C-clip off on the wastegate lever, and it should come out. This little boy can cause some problems. All right, so now what the idea is, I cut a Schrader valve in half. I have a tire inflator with the gauge on it. This will allow us to make sure that the wastegate is operating properly at about 10 PSI. Put it on the end. And then let's see. Oh, well, that was 60 PSI. Probably a little much. I was thinking we could hold it at around 10 PSI, but if I just do it nice and slow. Oh, yeah, you see that? It's working. So after messing with it, it's really hard to just get 10 PSI on here, but if I try slowly pressing and then bleeding off, because it's really hard to just get 10, it closes before 10 PSI. I mean, it's slightly open. All right, well, I took apart the wastegate and I'm not seeing anything that doesn't look right, other than it might be a little dirty in there. Looks fine to me. And if the car was running, you know, close to 10 PSI, using our line going from the compressor side to the wastegate, then maybe it's not the wastegate. Wastegate's back on, got the lines routed properly. Next step, we're gonna test for boost leaks. Got my soapy water in a spray bottle and my PVC pipe on the intake piping. Now we'll just spray everything down and look for any bubbles that form. Don't know how this would affect an overboosting situation where, you know, if we have a boost leak that's causing it to overboost, that just doesn't sound right, but who knows with that 3-port solenoid we're using. Here we go. MAP sensor's notorious for bleeding out air, so that looks like there's a leak developing there. Just so you guys can see, bubbles being formed there, and a lot of bubbles being formed right there. Now that we're looking at it, we got quite a few boost leaks. Look at that. The catch can's bubbling, so I either need to tighten the can up. The connection looks good. Yeah, we have quite the amount of boost leaks that we gotta fix, Mike. So yes, I know we have quite a few boost leaks present, but it really doesn't affect the drivability of the car just running at around 9 to 10 PSI. So instead of spending some time trying to address those and it not really affecting the drivability of the car unless I'm in that high boost map, I'm gonna let it sit. I wanna drive it, but if I'm gonna continue to drive it, I do need to fix our little clutch situation, which hopefully is just a matter of bleeding the clutch, rather bleeding the slave cylinder and hoping that that fixes our issue. And with the help of some friends, we're gonna bleed this clutch. Where did I put my tool? All right, go ahead, Mike.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. Hopefully that fixed it. For the ultimate test, only running 10 PSI, basically just wastegate. As long as it feels decent and doesn't crunch third, then I'll consider this video a success. If not, then maybe that's just a telltale sign of some more issues with this car. Stumbling a lot. So we might have made our issue a little bit worse by messing with all the lines. Oh yeah, it's stumbling some now. Yeah, 6 PSI, woo! Well, we seem to have made our boost issues worse. I'm only able to get roughly 6 PSI. So maybe putting 50 PSI from the compressor might have loosened up a gasket or messed with a vacuum hose. I don't know, but I think what this necessitates is us taking the turbo out, replacing all the gaskets, inspecting all of the vacuum lines, even the 2 that I think are underneath the intake manifold, just to make sure we're good. I mean, really, this is only in the pursuit of running 14.5 PSI on this car safely so that I can beat my friend Victor in a race. But as of now, it drives okay, it's just not as fun as it could be. Oh, and the transmission. Gonna need to replace that, but in reality, if I just don't power shift into 3rd gear, it's okay. And as a hoarder of FRS parts, I actually have another FA20 transmission right there waiting to be installed, which we will eventually get around to. But before we take the car apart, there are 2 mods that will ensue that I am honestly really excited for. So we'll knock those out before we take it apart. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yes, I know we created more issues than we solved, but hey, that's just working on cars for idiots like me. You have a great one, and I'll see you next time. Peace.